Imagine standing in your backyard garden on a warm, humid summer morning. You walk over to your raised beds expecting to see a lush, vibrant canopy of green. Instead, you are confronted with a puzzling mystery. Side by side, you have two cucumber beds. They are the exact same heirloom variety, planted on the very same day, nestled in the exact same soil mix, and receiving the identical amount of golden sunlight every single afternoon. Yet the contrast between them is absolutely striking. One bed is a thriving, dense jungle of deep emerald green leaves, bursting with yellow blossoms and heavy with young, crisp cucumbers. The other bed looks tired, stressed, and defeated. Its leaves are pale, yellowing at the margins, and curling inward, while its overall growth has ground to a painful halt. Most gardeners look at this heartbreaking sight and immediately assume they need to dump a massive dose of synthetic nitrogen fertilizer onto the struggling plants. But what happened next surprised me, and it completely changed the way I look at plant nutrition. If you simply rush to add generic fertilizer, you might actually make the problem much worse. The truth is, during the critical transition from vegetative growth to the flowering and fruiting stage, cucumbers undergo a massive physiological shift. They are no longer just building leaves. They are channeling every ounce of their energy into producing flowers and swelling fruits. During this high-energy phase, cucumbers become exceptionally vulnerable to very specific nutrient deficiencies that a standard fertilizer simply cannot fix. The most common culprit behind this sudden decline is a severe lack of bioavailable calcium, coupled with a dramatic imbalance in the beneficial soil microorganisms surrounding the root zone. When a cucumber plant cannot access enough calcium, the structural integrity of its cells begins to fail. This leads to a cascade of devastating problems that can ruin your entire harvest before it even starts. You will begin to notice premature flower drop, where the bright yellow blossoms dry up and fall off the vine instead of turning into fruit. Even worse, the few cucumbers that do manage to form will often develop blossom end rot, a frustrating condition where the bottom tip of the fruit turns black, leathery, and completely rotten. Most gardeners don't know this, but calcium is an immobile nutrient within the plant's vascular system. Unlike nitrogen or potassium, which can be easily translocated from older leaves to newer growth, calcium must be constantly absorbed from the soil through active water uptake. If the soil is dry, compacted, or lacking in the right biological activity, the plant simply cannot transport calcium to the rapidly developing fruits and new leaves. This is why you see those telltale yellowing, distorted leaves and stunted vines. Fortunately, there is an incredibly simple, time-tested method that experienced homesteaders have used for generations to rescue their plants during this critical stage. It relies on a single, everyday ingredient that is likely sitting in your kitchen refrigerator right now. The secret weapon we are talking about is fresh, diluted milk. To the untrained ear, pouring milk onto your garden soil might sound bizarre or even counterintuitive. You might wonder if it will attract pests, create a horrible odor, or rot the roots of your precious plants. However, dairy milk has a long and highly successful history as an organic soil amendment and natural fungicide. Long before commercial chemical fertilizers existed, old-school growers recognized that milk is a biological powerhouse. It is packed with highly bioavailable calcium, essential proteins, vitamin B complexes, and natural sugars that act as an instant superfood for the soil food web. Here is where the real secret begins. When you introduce diluted milk to the soil, you are not just feeding the plant directly, you are feeding the soil. The natural sugars and proteins in milk stimulate the growth of beneficial soil bacteria, particularly lactic acid bacteria. These microscopic allies go to work immediately, breaking down tightly bound organic matter in the soil and converting locked-up minerals into a form that your cucumber roots can easily drink in. This sudden boost in microbial activity dramatically improves the soil structure, making it more porous, fertile, and capable of retaining moisture without waterlogging the roots. However, you cannot simply walk out to your garden and dump a gallon of straight milk onto your plants. This is a critical mistake that many beginners make, and it almost always leads to disaster. Raw, undiluted milk is far too concentrated. If applied directly, the fats and proteins will coat the soil particles, creating a dense anaerobic barrier that suffocates the roots, sours the soil, and attracts unwanted pests like flies and gnats. To unlock the true power of this natural remedy, you must use the precise dilution ratio that delivers all the benefits without any of the negative side effects. The golden ratio that has been proven to work wonders is exactly 100 milliliters of fresh milk mixed with 1 liter of clean, chemical-free water. This represents a gentle 1.10 dilution. This specific concentration is mild enough to protect the delicate, sensitive root hairs of your cucumber plants, while still providing a highly effective dose of calcium and organic compounds. When preparing this mixture, always pour the milk slowly into the water rather than dumping the water into the milk. This simple technique allows the milk proteins and fats to disperse completely and evenly throughout the liquid, creating a perfectly stable, uniform solution that won't settle or separate. Now that we understand the science, let us dive into the preparation and application process, because this is where many people skip crucial steps and miss out on the best results. The first thing we must address is the water you use. Most gardeners instinctively grab their garden hose, but standard municipal tap water is heavily treated with chlorine and chloramines. These chemicals are specifically designed to kill bacteria to make water safe for human consumption. If you use chlorinated tap water to dilute your milk, you will instantly kill off the beneficial lactic acid bacteria and soil microbes we are trying to activate. To avoid this common pitfall, always use harvested rainwater if you have it. Rainwater is naturally soft, slightly acidic, and packed with dissolved oxygen, making it the absolute gold standard for gardening. If rainwater is not an option, simply fill a clean bucket with tap water and let it sit uncovered in the sun for at least 24 to 48 hours. This allows the chlorine gas to naturally dissipate into the atmosphere, leaving you with clean, safe water for your mixture. Once your water is ready, add your milk and stir the solution thoroughly for a full 1 to 2 minutes. This prolonged stirring ensures that the milk is completely emulsified within the water. Before you apply a single drop of this mixture to your garden, you must prepare the soil around the base of your cucumber plants. If you look closely at the soil around a struggling cucumber vine, you will often find it hard, crusty, and compacted from repeated watering. If you pour your milk solution directly onto this hard crust, it will simply run off the surface and pool in the pathways, completely missing the root system. To prevent this, take a small hand fork or use your fingers to very gently loosen the top half-inch of soil in a wide circle around the base of the plant. This is the step many people skip, but it is absolutely vital. Loosening the surface layer improves soil aeration and breaks up the crust, allowing the nutrients to penetrate deep into the root zone where they are needed most. However, you must exercise extreme caution. Cucumbers have an incredibly shallow, delicate, and widespread root system. If you dig too deep or use heavy tools, you will tear these fragile feeder roots, causing severe transplant-like shock and setting your plant's growth back by weeks. Only scratch the very surface, keeping a safe distance of a few inches away from the main stem itself. Once the soil is gently aerated, there is one more professional secret you must apply before pouring your milk solution. Lightly water the loosened soil with a small amount of plain, clean water first. Dry soil acts exactly like a dry kitchen sponge. If you pour a liquid onto it, it will either run off immediately or absorb the liquid too rapidly in one concentrated spot, leaving the rest of the root zone completely dry. By pre-moistening the soil, you create a moisture bridge. This allows our diluted milk solution to spread smoothly, deeply, and evenly throughout the entire root zone, ensuring every single feeder root gets an equal share of the nutrients. Allow the pre-moistening water to soak in for about 2 to 3 minutes. Once the soil is damp but not muddy, it is time to apply the milk mixture. Pour the solution slowly and evenly around the base of the plant, focusing on the drip line, the area directly under the outermost leaves where the feeder roots are most active. Each cucumber plant should receive between 300 to 500 milliliters of the diluted solution, depending on the size of the plant and the moisture level of your soil. Avoid pouring the entire amount in one single spot. Instead, move your watering can in a slow, gentle circle around the main stem. Timing is absolutely everything when it comes to applying organic soil drenches. The best time to apply this treatment is in the cool, quiet hours of the early morning, just as the sun is rising, or in the late afternoon when the harsh heat of the day has passed. During these times, the soil temperature is moderate, and the plant's roots are actively absorbing water and nutrients. Never apply this mixture during the blazing heat of midday, as the intense sun can cause the milk proteins to break down too quickly on the soil surface, leading to unpleasant odors. Additionally, never apply this solution to waterlogged soil or immediately after a heavy rainstorm, as the excess water will simply wash the nutrients away before the roots can absorb them. Most importantly, keep in mind that this specific solution is designed strictly for the soil and the root zone. Do not spray this concentration directly onto the leaves during this process. While milk can be used as a foliar spray to combat powdery mildew, that requires a different application method. For root and soil health, keep the liquid focused on the ground. The results became visible just days later. Within 3 to 4 days of the first application, you will notice a dramatic shift in the color of the leaves as they transition from a sickly pale yellow to a deep, vibrant, healthy green. By the end of the first week, the premature flower drop will stop entirely, and the newly forming cucumbers will begin to swell rapidly, free from any signs of blossom end rot. Remember, this natural milk drench is a highly effective organic supplement, but it is not a replacement for your regular compost and balanced fertilization routine. Think of it as a powerful wellness boost that unlocks the true potential of your soil. If you want to discover more of these time-tested, chemical-free gardening secrets that will transform your backyard harvest this season, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this video with your fellow gardeners. Leave a comment below sharing your own experiences with natural remedies, or let me know how this milk method works in your garden. Thank you for watching, and here is to a bountiful, healthy, and sustainable harvest season.